like I told you before, we will use one of the presentation as the midterm exam. So you don't need to do the midterm exam, right? You just need to do the presentations. Normally, I ask people to do three presentations, right? Three presentations, but depends on the speed of our lecture, right? You may need to do three or maybe only two, right? And of course, you will have some time to prepare your presentation beforehand at home, right? You need to work in group, and because there are only 4 people in your class, so we will divide you into only 2 groups, right? Only 2 groups, okay? Right. And these are the course materials, right? Only some books, right? 2 books, and of course you can use your own time to look up the information, on the internet, right? There are a lot of things in there, like best practices, like something like lessons, learned from the practice internationally, right? And you can use them, for as materials for developing your knowledge or for preparing your presentation as well, right? So these are the main materials, course materials. But of course, you can refer to other sources if you want. Right. And now we come to the first lecture with the title of Management and Organization. Right. And like you've already known, right, you can be a manager if you are working in a team or an organization, right? Organization, right? That's why the management job, is incorporated or linked, very closely with the organization operation, right? The operation of the organizations, right? And that's why in this lecture we will study about the management job in the organizations, not in your daily life, okay? Not in your daily life. And the managers will help the organization to achieve their goals and objectives. And because of the limit in resources, right? So the managers always need to make decisions. They always need to make decisions, right? And the decision will be based on the limit of the resources. Of the organization, right? Right. It means they have to make choice, right? Make choice, right? And how to use up the resources, right? Limit resources to have the most benefit for the organization, right? The benefit can be financial benefit, or can be other type of benefit. Sorry. Right. Okay, and this lecture, the subtopic we cover is or include who are managers. So the definitions for a manager job. Sorry. Right. The definition for the managers, and where do they work in an organization? Of course, we are talking about organizations, right? Not in your daily life, right? But even in the organizations, where do they work, right? And the types of the managers, and the importance of the managers, and some theories about the roles of the managers. And in this lecture, we will review the theories developed by Lindbergh, very famous writer in management. Sorry, right. And then if we've got some more times, we can work together, to solve some problem in the textbook, right? Who are managers? As you've seen, in your job, right? There are some people who coordinate and oversee the work of you and your colleagues, right? And they give you some orders, right? They give you some plans, instruct you to do your jobs, and then they review and evaluate your outcomes of performance, right? They are managers. Right. Of course, there are many roles a manager can play in an organization, right? But all of the roles are to coordinate and to oversee the job, the performance of the people who are under their management, under their supervision, or who are their subordinates, right? You got the word? Subordinates, right? Under your management, right? And this is a widely accepted definition for manager: someone who coordinates and oversees the work of other people so that the organization's goals can be accomplished, right? So in this definition, you can see that the job of the managers is only coordination and overseeing the work of other people, right? Coordination and overseeing the work of other people. But actually, in lots of organizations, even the managers need to do some professional work. Right? So it means they don't just work as a manager, but also work as a worker as well. Right? They themselves will do some piece of work along with their subordinates. Understand? For example, if you are the managers of the technical department, right, in a construction company, right, you will assign and your department is in charge of managing one of the construction site, for example, right? So we will assign some supervision job to the members in your department, right? You will assign some supervision job to the members in your departments. And of course, yourself may need to bear some of the roles. It means if there are like several items, in the computer site, you may be in charge of one item, right? Or some part of that item, some jobs in that item, some construction activities in that items, right? So you work both as a manager and a worker or a staff, right? right? You work both as a manager and a staff, right? And depends on the amount of professional work you need to bear. Depends on the amount of the professional work you need to bear, right? This will decide the type of managers that you are, right? Okay. And this is the we just concerned we are just concerned about the manager position, right? So we will accept definition, right? Someone who coordinates and oversees the work of other people, so that the organizational goals can be accomplished, right? Okay. So managers work in organizations, right? The managers, they need to work in organizations. And the managers need to belong to at least one organization, right? Belong to at least one organization. And in Vietnam, you know that it's very popular that one person can be a manager of several organizations at the same time, right? For example, in the class, is that Quyết the monitor or Linh? Không biết. Who's the monitor? Quyết?
Quyết on the monitor. Quyết is the monitor.
Oh, Quyết is the monitor. So Quyết is the manager in your class, right? But Quyết can also play as a manager or team leader in the job, in the work, right? He's working now. In the company, he's working now, for example, right? So a manager can, can belong to one organization or maybe several organizations at the same time, right? Yeah, and it's very popular in Vietnam, right? So what is an organization? What is an organization? You may see that people come together, and belong to one entity, to work together, right? To work together or to get paid, right? To work and get paid, right? It means you may see lots of collectives, of people, collective of people. Collective of people. It means a group of people. So if the group of people is the organization or not, right? Of course, an organization is a group of people, right? There are some people belong to that group and they work together, right? They work together, right? They do something together, right? But the groups of collective people can only become an organization when it has a deliberate arrangement of people, right? Right. It means you need to have an organizational structure. Right. In there, each person will has their own position, role, and play a specific function. Each person will have their own position, role, and play a specific function. And there should be some link between the member of that group. And the links is often under the form of the information exchange. Sorry, the link is often under the form of information exchange, or another word, reporting system. Reporting system, right? It means in the organization structures, right? You need to clarify the reporting system, right? The reporting system, right? And the command line as well. Command line, right? The order, right? There should be someone who do something, right? And the manager need to assign them and then order them to do something, right? And the order will go down through the command line, right? And the people, the member staff who work, right, who do the job, we need to report to the bosses, right? One boss or bosses, right? That's the reporting system, reporting line, right? Command line will go down from the top, and the reporting system should go up from the bottom. Okay. So if you got an organization structures for your group of people, and in there you clarify the positions of each person, right? The role of each person and the functions of each person, the functions that each person plays in the group, and you can define the information exchange mechanism as the reporting system and the command lines, and then that that group of people can be called an organization. Okay, so that's the differences between the group of people and the organization. Okay, so you got a definition here. Organization is a deliberate arrangement of people to accomplish some specific purposes, right? So another idea emerges in here, right? Another information emerges in here, right? Organizations exist for some specific purposes, right? Organization exists for some specific purposes. Each organization will have its own specific purposes, right? That's why it is established. Right, and operated, right? Okay. And you may observe in practice that there are a lot of organizations. Right? And there is a special type of organizations in each country all over the world. It is called firm or enterprise. Or sometimes, the people call it company, right? Firm, enterprise, or company, right? And that's the subject of our lecture, right? We will not study about the governmental organization or societal organizations, like the Association of Vietnam Association of Vietnam Association of Construction Economics. Vietnam Association of Construction Economics. Do you want to belong to? Have you heard about that? Vietnam Association of Construction Economics. I belong to, I am a member of that. I'm a member of the standing committee. And another, maybe more famous, VCAS, Vietnam Engineering, VK, right? VCAS, can't remember. I check. Yeah, VCAS. Vietnam Engineering Consultant Association, right? So where's S? What's S for? Engineering Consultant, sometimes consultancy association. Where's S? Only VECA, right? Okay. These are the organization as well. Right, they are organizations. Right. But they are not the subject of our lecture. Not the subject of our lecture. We just focus on the firm's enterprise or company. Right. That is why our module is called corporate management. It means just management job within the firm, enterprise, and companies, right? Not in other type of organization. And according to the laws of Vietnam, I'm not very sure about if there's any updated law on enterprise in Vietnam or not. But the version in 2005, as extracted here, defines the firm as an economic organization, having its own name, having assets, and a stable transaction office, and having business registration, in accordance with law for the purpose of conducting business operations. Right. So a firm or company needs to have its own name. It cannot share the name with others. Okay, for people to differentiate between the organizations, right? And in Vietnam, as long as I remember, the governments, local governments manage the firms within their geographical area. So they cannot control if there are some companies in other provinces having the same name with the one registered in their local agency. It means Mr. Quyết can found an organization or company named Xuân Quyết in Bắc Ninh province, for example, but there may be another Xuân Quyết company in Hà Nội. It's also okay. Right. So they manage the firms locally. Okay. And I think it needs to be changed, because it's very difficult, if there are, different companies with the same name, even if they register in different provinces, because the law don't prohibit them. In other words, they are allowed, to do business all over the country. Right. Okay. And the second aspect, it need to have some assets, of course, right? They need something like equipment to run their business, right? or some company may have some properties like houses, right, etc., right, right, and they also need to have some financial assets as well, financial assets, right? They need to have some money in their account, right, as the registered capital, right. It will assure, that they can operate, within a limited time, right, a duration of time, and it needs to have a stable transactional office, a stable transactional office. Do you know why? Do you know why a company need a stable? Pay attention to this word. Do you know why? Anyone knows? Why it needs to be stable? What does stable means in here? What does stable means in here? Mr. Nguyen, can you tell me?
Sự ổn định.
Yeah. But why it needs to be stable? And what does ổn định means in here? Is that something about the property of the building, for example? Like the building can last about 100 years or things? Or other aspects? How do you understand stable in this context? Ổn định trong trường hợp này là gì ạ? Về nghĩa gì?
Theo em thì ý là kiểu là ổn định, nghĩa ở đây trong cái trường hợp này là khi mình làm đúng cái việc mình đăng ký với lại cái hiệp hội Vietnam Law Enterprise.
That's what I.
Yeah.
Other comments? Linh, Hưng. Stable means, you have to be there. You have to be there. You have to set your office there for a certain period of time. It means when you register your companies, for example, in your house, you need to keep it there for at least a year, for example. Why? Because when you register the company in one address, the receipts, the system of receipts, for example, VAT receipts, understand? That the government issues for you, the tax office issues for you, will be put under that address, right? And the governments need to check if you are still there, right, or not. If you move to somewhere else, it's very difficult for people, to find you. Understand? Cái trường hợp này thì đơn giản, cái chữ ổn định đây nó chỉ là câu chuyện là bạn phải đã đăng ký kinh doanh ở đó thì bạn phải chấp nhận là ở đó trong một khoảng thời gian nhất định nào đó. Thì cái này tùy ngành nghề người ta quy định. Ví dụ như bất động sản, môi giới bất động sản thì mình nhớ là người ta yêu cầu là 4 năm. Đấy là ổn định ở chỗ đấy. Chứ không phải là hôm nay thì mình bảo là mình ở địa chỉ nhà Hưng, ngày mai mình ở chuyển sang địa chỉ nhà Quyết, rồi ngày kia mình sang nhà Linh, ngày kia mình sang nhà Nguyên, thế là không ổn. Bởi vì là nó có cái hệ thống là người ta kiểm soát hoạt động kinh doanh của mình. Thì ngoài cái câu chuyện liên quan thuế má thì nó còn hệ thống hóa đơn ấy, hóa đơn VAT, hóa đơn mà doanh nghiệp ấy. Đấy, nếu mà không ổn định như thế thì cái cơ quan thuế không thể kiểm tra được. Và ngoài ra thì các đối tác người ta muốn kiểm tra chúng ta còn tồn tại không tồn tại là người ta rất là khó kiểm tra, bởi vì tình trạng bây giờ là mua bán hóa đơn giả rất là nhiều, là các bạn cũng biết đúng không? Đấy. Thế nên một công ty ngày hôm nay người ta lập ra ở địa chỉ nhà mình chẳng hạn, xong người ta bán hết một mớ hóa đơn, ngày mai người ta chuyển sang nhà Dung, nhà Hưng, người ta bán một mớ hóa đơn khác, thế như vậy là không thể kiểm soát được. Cho nên đây là một cái quy định pháp luật chúng ta là cái sự ổn định của cái văn phòng, đấy, là hoạt động ấy, văn phòng hoạt động của họ là chính là ở cái nghĩa đấy, stable transactional office. I'm not very sure that if there are similar regulation in other countries or not, but that's the one in Vietnam, right? Okay, next one, having business registration in accordance with the law, right, to conduct business operations. I mean, if you got a very rich in the past, right? Very big house near the road, Mr. Hưng. Okay, I just moved Hưng because of some noises, coming over from the road in front of his villa. Right. Having business registration in accordance with the law for the purpose of conducting the business operations. It means, in your registration, in your company registration certificate, you need to specify the type of business operations that you want to run, right? And that was, like outdated now, because the newest law, in the recent law, the government mentioned that you just cannot do the businesses that the law prohibited, and for others you can do, right? Except for the one that the law states that it is prohibited to do in Vietnam, except for those one. And you can do all others, you can do the rest, right? For example, the law prohibits people to smuggling, right? Or to produce and consume drugs, for example, right? Drugs. Right. The law prohibit companies to produce and sell the drugs. So that's the thing that the law prohibits, right? And you cannot do that type of business, and you can do the rest, anything, right? But actually, in Vietnam, because it's like an old belief, maybe because of this law on the rights, they state very, very clearly about those. So when you do business with your partner, especially the Vietnamese partners, they always check if you got that type of business in your registration certificate or not. If you got that type of business in the registration certificate, it's wrong. It's not right. Because even you don't have something in your registration certificate, right? You can also do that type of business, provided that the business is not on the prohibited list, right? But that's the perception of people and belief of people, so you may not change, right? So it's for your business to run smoothly, you should state very clearly the type of businesses that you may want to run, in for your companies in the registration, right? Business registration, right? That's why you may see that even a new company, newly established company with about like 5 people, right? With 5 people, but they've got a very long list of business activity, from investment, for example, to consultancy, technical consultancy, to real estate, right? To photocopy, to tourism, right? Hotel, karaoke, etc. Lots of things. Very long list. You register, right? Just in case in the future you want to turn that business, you don't need to register again, right? And then your clients will be very easily to check, right? To check if you got that type of business registered or not, right? Okay. So we've been focused more on the management job in the enterprises, in the firms enterprises, right? And yeah, I think you should have some time for break, 5 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Okay, see you later.
Yeah, yes.
5 minutes. Bị pháp luật cấm là được. Đấy, cái thứ hai là gì, là nó chỉ có một cái điểm lưu ý ở đây là có một số cái ngành nghề kinh doanh đặc biệt thì nó đòi hỏi giấy phép con, chúng ta tạm gọi như thế, đúng không? Nó đòi hỏi một số các cái quy định chặt chẽ khác. Ví dụ như các bạn biết là trong xây dựng thì doanh nghiệp thi công, doanh nghiệp các loại doanh nghiệp nói chung ấy, thì đều phải có cái gọi là chứng chỉ hoạt động xây dựng, chứng chỉ năng lực của tổ chức ấy, hoạt động xây dựng. Ví dụ như thế thì đấy là một cái loại giấy phép chúng ta tạm gọi là giấy phép con. Thực ra nó thuộc loại giấy phép con, người ta không muốn gọi như thế, nhưng thực ra là loại giấy phép con. Hay là các bạn kinh doanh karaoke chẳng hạn thì các bạn sẽ cần những giấy phép khác, đúng không ạ? Ví dụ như liên quan đến phòng cháy chữa cháy rồi một vài những cái gì nữa hay như thế. Thì cái đó là những cái yêu cầu riêng do đặc thù của từng loại kinh doanh khác nhau, thì chúng ta cần phải thỏa mãn cái đó chúng ta mới thực hiện được. Hay là các bạn muốn mở sàn bất động sản chẳng hạn thì các bạn cần phải có cái đăng ký sàn, cũng như trong đó là phải có một số người có chứng chỉ hành nghề phù hợp, hành nghề môi giới chẳng hạn, như thế thì các bạn mở sàn. Thì có những cái điều lưu ý như thế thôi trong vấn đề kinh doanh để chúng ta biết. Thế còn về nguyên tắc là nếu mà không có những giấy phép con như thế và không phải là cái kinh doanh mà pháp luật cấm thì về nguyên tắc là chúng ta được phép kinh doanh, mà cũng không cần thiết là phải ghi cái đó ở trong cái giấy đăng ký kinh doanh đâu. Đúng chuẩn là như thế, nhưng thực tế thì nó không phải như vậy, là bởi vì là cái quan niệm của chúng ta, kể cả người dân thường lẫn những cái người mà làm trong cơ quan quản lý nhà nước từ cái xưa nay, là tôi chỉ kiểm tra những cái thứ nếu anh có trong đăng ký kinh doanh thì anh mới được phép làm, còn anh không có thì anh không được phép làm. Đấy, đơn giản là như thế. Thế cho nên là nó vẫn đang có cái sự vênh nhất định giữa quy định pháp luật với thực tiễn. Nó vẫn đang có cái sự vênh nhất định là như thế. Thế cho nên thành ra là bây giờ cứ để an toàn chúng ta vẫn phải làm việc các cơ quan quản lý nhà nước, thì chúng ta vẫn cứ phải làm theo đúng cái yêu cầu của họ, có nghĩa là chúng ta phải đăng ký kinh doanh cho nó đủ, đúng không ạ? Để chúng ta muốn chuyển sang lĩnh vực kinh doanh nào đó ta đăng ký cho nó đủ, thế thôi. Thì nó liệt kê ra ở đó thì người ta nhìn thấy nó cũng yên tâm hơn. Cái thứ hai, khách hàng người ta cũng sợ đó sợ kia thì người ta nhìn thấy cái đó người ta yên tâm hơn, như vậy thôi. Okay, right. So we are talking about the the companies or firms or enterprises as the subject of our lecture. And, among them, there is a very special type as well. It's like the subtype of the firms we call the construction firm, right? In the construction industry, people often use the word AEC industry, AEC industry. It means architecture, engineering, and construction, right? Or architect, so contractor, right? AEC industry, in Vietnamese, you just call like construction industry or ngành xây dựng, right? There are a lot of type of firms operating in that industry, and construction firm is one special type, like a subset of that group, right? And they are the one that operate as the contractors. They are the one that operates as the contractors, right? So it means the last type in this list of the industry, right? Right. But in Vietnam, sometimes when we are talking about the doanh nghiệp xây dựng, right? Doanh nghiệp xây dựng, they can also include the consultancy services, the consultancy firms, right? The other types in here. Architecture can be the one who delivers some consultancy services, right, to the clients. And engineering, the same, right? Same type of services, but in terms of engineering, right? And they can be the designer. They can be the designer. They can be the project management company, designer or project management company, right? Also, they can provide some type, of consultancy services like feasibility study, development, right? And all of those in Vietnam we put into the consultancy services group, right? Right. And construction firm is only one type of the industry, not those type, right? Who are working as contractor. It means who are the one who mobilize the resources, right? The resources to deliver the construction product, or in other words, to build up construction works like buildings, like infrastructures, right? Like plants, right? Etc. Right. Okay. And the construction firms, they operate in the construction industry. They operate in the construction industry. Right. That's the market, right? But you also want to differentiate between, two similar words here, right? Can you see my screen? You still see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So yeah, we are talking about the second bullet point here. You need to differentiate between two similar words, construction industry and construction market. They are both sides. They're in different sides, right? The first one is related to supply. You supply the service, you supply the products, right? And the second is related to the demand, right? So the clients will be on the construction market, right? But the contractor will operate in the construction industry. Understand?
Yes, understand.
Right. You know, but that's the definition for construction contractor, construction firms. But you know, in some areas of the world, you know, they may have different concept or perceptions about the firms, and they widened the construction industry to include all of the firms that can do the construction works or the design as well. Right. And some countries, the difference between the construction industry and the infrastructure or industry, infrastructure, construction work and infrastructure, right? Like in the UK, when we talk about construction, literally, it just related to the buildings, right? Like houses, like offices, like commercial buildings or the apartments, etc., or malls, etc., right? Construction industry is just like about the buildings. And then you may need to, if you want to relate to refer to, excuse me, to other type of construction works like infrastructure, right? You need to include that word, in your phrase, right? And there are something about the differences between the perception of the words construction in related to construction in Vietnam and in other countries. In Vietnam, when we use the word sibo, right? Sibo. In Vietnam, dân dụng đúng không? Đấy. We include buildings in that, right? But in, for example, France, sibo mean cầu đường, right? So you may see that the classification of construction works in different countries are different, are not the same. So be careful with the words, be careful with the words, right? Even that words in English, but it may have different meanings, in different countries, right? Yeah, I just want to get your attention into that, right? And when you talk about construction industry, you just mentioned about the buildings, right? And if you want to include infrastructure like roads and bridges, dams, etc., you need to use another word, infrastructure. Or if you want to talk about the plans, factories, right? You may want to use another word, engineer, right? So that's why you got construction, project management, but sometimes we've got engineering, project management as another type. And sometimes they got infrastructure, project management. Right. And the English, the differences between those types, they're not the same. Right. But in Vietnam, we use quản lý dự án xây dựng, đúng không? Quản lý dự án xây dựng means everything. Right, every type in there. Quản lý dự án xây dựng ở Việt Nam thì bao gồm cả công trình dân dụng, công nghiệp, bao gồm công trình giao thông, thủy lợi, tất cả các loại, đúng không? So that's the difference between the perceptions of the words, in different countries. So you do pay attention about that. Okay. Next. Terms, it means a deliberate, right? Arrangement of people, right? It means you've got a structure for that. And there are some examples for you. They be very outdated because I took from the website from 2009 when I review my final thesis, my PhD thesis, right? I took from the website. So you can see this is an example of the organization of the Vina Connect joint venture company, right? They've got the great committee of the shareholder on top, right? Do you know that what it is in Vietnamese? Great committee of shareholder.
Hội đồng quản trị.
Hội đồng quản trị.
Hội đồng cổ đông.
Hội đồng cổ đông.
Hội đồng cổ đông. Yeah, hội đồng cổ đông. Some people translated it into English as great meeting of shareholders. Meeting. Meeting. That's the word. Great meeting of shareholders. Right. Because they translate from the word đại hội. Hội means meeting, right? Tụ hội mà, hội họp ấy. Đúng không?
Yes.
Đại hội, great meeting. Great meeting. Đại hội đồng, đại hội đồng. But because I think it's not like an event, not a word. Sorry, not a verb. It should be a noun. So that's why I translate into English as a great committee. Ban này, kiểu như dạng ban này, hội đồng theo cái nghĩa chứ không phải là đại hội nhé. Từ là đại hội đồng, đúng không? Đại hội đồng thì mình dịch từ phía sau ghép với nhau là hội đồng. Hội đồng là một cái ban, đúng không? Đấy, người ta dịch thì là đại hội, xong chỉ thêm chữ đồng vào. Thế cho nên không biết là mình chả rõ là ai đúng ai sai, mình không chắc. Nhưng mà mình dùng cái từ này mình trao đổi thì thấy Tây nó cũng hiểu. Okay, and under that you got the management board, the hội đồng quản trị, yeah, right, and you got supervisory board, là gì ạ? Ban kiểm soát, đúng không? Ban kiểm soát. Sometimes they call it controlling or something, yeah, right? Ban kiểm soát. And then you got a board of 0 directors, and then you got some departments or units belong to that companies, right? Some and even some branch offices as well. Branch offices like the domestic and overseas representative offices, right? Right. And there are some units that the organizations invest to, right? And they are dependent accounting. They have a dependent accounting system, and some may have an independent accounting system as well, right? When the company has hold some shares in those organizations, right? This is a very big, very large company, right? That's why the organization is a bit very complicated, right? You've got like a lot of people in the management job, right? It's from the great committee of shareholder down to management board and down to the board of general directors. And they can also have some managers in the functional departments as well, right? Functional department, each one will have at least one manager, right? Maybe more, right? And in the project management unit as well, we got some project managers there. In the branch offices, we got the head of the offices there, right? And there may be some structures, smaller structure of each office, right? And then there will be more and more managers, right? Okay, another simpler, actually it looks more complicated, right? Vina connects on, right? And 2009 as well. I may change. I don't know. I never update. right. Great committee shareholder down to management board, only director, right, and then some deputy directors, right, three, and chief accountant, and then the departments, right, and then some divisions, some branches, some factories, some workshops, centers, and some project management units as well, right. Right. And you may see that, in each of the levels in this picture, there may be, a lot of managers involved, right? Many. I see. Number 5, the one belong to the Ministry of Agricultural and Rural Development. Công ty xây dựng nông nghiệp số 5 của Tổng nông nghiệp sao ạ? Right. It's a bit similar, right? There was the chairman of the management board. They in 2009, they was not privatized completely. Hadn't been privatized completely. That's why there were no great holder, great champions, right? Great committee, right? Great committee, no committee, just the management board of with the general directors and some deputy directors as well. Now there are 3 deputy managers as directors, 3 deputy directors on chief accountant, right? And there are some departments, functional departments like accounting, like administration and personnel, like planning and technical, like material, right? Essential, right? And then they've got the projects under that, right? There are lots of projects, and then each project they may have some construction teams, right, working on the project, in that project, right? Right. This is a contractor company, right? Contractor. They've got their own workers, right, to do the job on site, right? So from the definition of organization, you may see that there are three important and common characteristics of an organization, right? You talk about what people, companies, organizations need to consist of people, right? People, not person. So only two people, right? Only 2 people, and the workload need to be contributed in a specific way to people, right? And then you got the deliberate organizational structure, right? And the organization exists for some specific purposes. Means distinct purpose. So all of those characteristics makes up an organization, right? Distinct purposes, deliberate structure, and people, right? These are the common characteristic of features of an organization, right? And each one may have more and more features or characteristics, right? Depends on the type of organizations that they belong to, right? And there are a lot of ways to differentiate or to classify the organization, but the management writers, the writers in management, popular, the famous one, they differentiate the organizations as the two key groups, as you can see on the slide here on the screen, right? The first group is traditional organization, and the second is contemporary, something like a modern, right? Contemporary, modern, hiện đại, đương đại, contemporary, right? And they are a bit different in terms of the characteristics. You can see the traditional ones are more stable in structure, but the contemporary organizations are more dynamic, stable and dynamic, right? Stable and dynamic. It's hard for the traditional organization to change their structure, right? The structure after established keep the same for a very long time, and it's easier for them to allocate the workload into divisions, and to person, because the structure is stable. So each person has its fixed function or role in the organization. Understand? That's why the structure is stable, right? But the contemporary organizations are more dynamic. It means you may work in one job or one project, for example, as the manager, right? But tomorrow, you may become the technical staff in a bigger project, right? It means the roles is not fixed. But it may change, through the time, right? Structure may not fixed, right? Like if you got like 16 people, right? 16 people. If your business today is like this, you get that structure fixed. But tomorrow you may have some more jobs, right? And then you may alter the structures, rearrange people into groups, right? This is more dynamic. And it's also inflexible and flexible. The traditional one is inflexible, because with that fixed structure, they can only do that type of jobs, the type of businesses. But the flexible one can do, flexible jobs. I mean, today they do this type of job, but tomorrow they can be easily switched, to another business, or they may add more some businesses, along the time, right? And then people will bear some more workload very easily, more flexible. Job focused and skill focused, right? In the deliberate arrangement of organizations, you will fix the positions, fix the functions for each positions, right? Fix the positions and then fix function of positions, and then you recruit people that suit perfectly to that position with their educational level, right? With their experience, right? With their strengths, weaknesses, etc. Right? So each position means one job, right? But in the contemporary organizations, based on the skill of each person, though the job may change, right? In order to use up one of the strength, the skill strength of each person in the organization, right? And some more features, like in traditional organization, work is defined by a job position, right? It's fixed to each position. But in contemporary organization, work is defined in terms of tasks to be done, right? And in traditional organization, it's like permanent jobs. But in contemporary organization, it's team-oriented. I mean, today you are the manager, but tomorrow you will be the member, right, in another team. Traditional organization, command-oriented, right? People will just work under command. If you are ordered to do something, you do that. If not, you may not do that, right? But in temporary jobs, you need to find what you can contribute but you can contribute to the organization's activities. Right. In traditional organization, managers always make decisions. It means there's very little involvement of the staff in the decision-making process. But in contemporary organizations, anyone has their own say. Right. Everyone has their own voice in the decision-making process. Right. Rule-oriented for traditional organization and customer-oriented. Right. Customer-oriented for the contemporary organization. Right. In the traditional one, we just obey the rules that have been set up for the organization, but in contemporary organization, you will be customer-oriented. So everything you will be doing, you are doing and you will be doing, will lead to how to satisfy the customer of the organization. Right, customer. A customer here can be the outsider. Outsiders or the internal people. Right. So there are two types of customers here. There will be outsider, or you can may see the partners or the clients, right? Customer, but also the colleague who works before or after your stage or phase. Right, before after your phase. The one who worked before you in the process of the business, or the one who worked after you in the process of business, they are all also your customers. Your customers. Right, customer oriented means you need to pay attention to not only the outsider, the clients from outside, and also the clients from inside, the customer from inside. Right. And something about the workforce, right? Work days, hours, right? The hierarchical or structure of the organization, right? And the using of the facility of the organization as well, that can differentiate between the traditional organization and the contemporary organization. And you can check this list, to know more about those. Right. As you can see from the structure, organization structure of the BINA Connect and ICIC number 5, you just seen before in the previous slides, right? The managers can be in some levels of an organization, not really the top one, right? There are some more managers down in the structure, right? And the writers classify the managers as in three groups, three times. Right. First time, the first line managers from the bottom up to top. First line managers, right? A similar something like related what calls the front line staff. You know this? Front line staff, who are the one who work directly with the client. customers, right? Frontline staff. And you got here
front. Thiếu chữ R đấy ạ. Thiếu chữ R. Front.
Frontline staff. Okay, yeah, you're right. And you got here first line manager, right? The one who works directly with the non-managerial employees, like in your, a construction company, you can find the first line managers in departments and in the construction teams on site. So this in office. Right. In these teams, you may see some team leaders, or sometimes foremen, right? Team leaders or foremen, they are the first line managers. And in the departments, right? If there's no like a sub division in the departments, so the department managers may be the first line managers, right? Because there are some non-managerial employees. In both the departments and on site. On site, they are workers, right? On site, in the site, they are workers. Workers are the non-managerial employees. And in the office, right? They are the one who do the professional work, professional job, like a technical, like a financial, procurement, things, right? So you may find the first line managers in the construction company in both, departments and the team, right? And then you got the middle managers, the one a bit higher, in a bit higher position, right? In a bit higher position, the individuals who manage the work of first line managers, right? First line managers. Right. So in some small company, right, you may not have the middle managers in some small companies, right? Because it comes up from the functional department managers up to the top managers. So there's no middle one, right? Okay. Some small companies, they may not have any subdivision in the functional department, right? Okay, and the more important one, in higher position, the top managers, who are the individuals who are responsible for making organization-wide decisions and establishing plans and goals that affect the entire organization, right? So their cover will be the whole organization, the entire organization. But the middle managers, the cover will be just in their area, like a functional department. Okay, right. So these are, the three important types of the manager in a typical organization. Right. Right. You can see those more easily, right? Difference between them, the positions in this picture, right? The one at the bottom are not the managers. They are the non-managerial employees, and they've got first line, and then middle, and then tops, right? Good. Why are they important? They are not doing, they are not creating, right? Directly creating the products or service that you provide to the market, but they are important. They are important. They are important. Why? Because in modern time, work become more and more complicated, and the workers themselves, may not find out the way to do the job in a efficiently and effectively way. Right? They can do the job. They can create the products. They can deliver service, but they may not know how to do that in a more efficient and effective way. And they may not know how to collaborate with others in the production chain. Right. Production chain, right. So the managers may involve. They need to instruct the workers, to do the job better in a more efficient and effective way. They need to collaborate the jobs of peoples in different phases of the production chain. Sorry, not chain, like this. Right, in different phases of the production chain. Right. So they've got their own skills in the type of managerial skills, and they need to have the ability to do well in their job. Right. And they also are the one who draw out the plans, schedule, right, for workers, for the non-managerial employees to follow. Right. And they are the one who check if the job are done correctly or not. Right. So they are critical to getting things done in the organization, and you can come to conclusions that they do matter to organization. They're important, for your organization. Right. And there are some theories regarding the roles a manager can play in an organization. And now we review the approach developed by Mintzberg, a very famous writer, very, very long time ago, right, about manager or managerial roles. Right. The roles mean the specific actions or behaviors that we expect that a manager will deliver. Specific actions or behaviors that we will expect that a manager will deliver in their job. Right. And Mintzberg differentiate among 10 different roles, but they are grouped into 10 different roles in 3 groups. The first one is interpersonal relationship roles, or in short, interpersonal roles. The second one is transfer information roles, or informational roles. And the last one is about decision making or decision roles. 3 groups of roles with 10 roles. Right. The first one, interpersonal. Right. This on top the roles that some type roles that in that the managers can be considered as ceremonial and symbolic in nature, right? And there are 3 roles: figurehead, leader, and liaison. Figurehead. What is that Vietnamese? Figurehead. If you find the meaning of that word in the dictionary, you may be surprised because there are many negative meaning of that word. Figurehead. Nếu mà tra trong từ điển thì nó có nhiều cái nghĩa nó hơi tiêu cực một tí. Ví dụ như là bung sung, hay là người vua giá trị, hay là bùa nhìn. Đấy, nhưng mà trong trường hợp này thì nó không phải nghĩa như thế đâu ạ. Nó nghĩa như là một cái kiểu chúng ta có thể gọi là đầu tàu ạ. Đầu tàu. Đúng không? Đấy, nhưng mà cái người đứng đầu nó cũng chưa hẳn là cái đầu tàu, nó kéo người khác theo. Đấy, cho nên nó mới mang tính là symbolic, là gì, là nó gọi là biểu tượng ấy.
Tượng trưng.
Đấy, như thế. Cái chữ này là như thế. Còn leader thì đơn giản rồi đó ạ. Leader thì là người tạo rồi. Đó là liaison. Cái từ này cũng hơi khó hiểu một tí. Nó là cái câu chuyện là cái người kết nối ấy. Người kết nối giữa các cái thành viên trong với nhau. Đấy. Người kết nối, người liên lạc. Ở đây nó là chỉ một cái vị trí của con người, cho nên là chúng ta dịch sang cái hướng là đối tượng là con người là như thế. Thì còn cái nghĩa gốc của từ license thì các bạn có thể trong từ điển nó dịch là sự phối hợp này, sự liên kết này, sự liên lạc này, sự giao liên vân đấy. Người phối hợp hay là người liên kết giữa các cái thành viên trong group, trong organization, trong tổ chức với nhau, đúng không? Hay bởi vì là because each person in the organization will have their own duty, and the duties are linked together. So you need someone, to link, the duties, and that is the job of manager. There are 3 interpersonal roles: figurehead, leader, and liaisons. And regarding the informational roles, these are the roles that involve collecting, receiving, and disseminating information. Right? You need information in your organization. You need information, right? And you need to exchange the information between people, members in your organization, right? Because the information will, tell them what to do, how to do, right? And the information exchange when inform people about the changes in the plants, in the environment, and the solution for that, right? Or even the processes or progress of the job, etc. And then people can make decisions, right? So that's the job of the managers, who need to develop some rules to collect the information and the mechanism to receive the information. And then that is also the job to disseminate the information to the target groups. Yes, to the one who need the information. Right. And there are 3 roles in the group: monitor, like Mr. Quet, right? Disseminator, and spokesperson, right? Disseminator. Monitor is like sometimes can be referred as a leader, right? As a leader, but the job is a bit like less important than the leader, right? Disseminator is the one who disseminates the information, right? Like I say, and the next one is spokesperson, who speak as representatives of the whole group or organization, right? And the four more roles in the decisional group. These are the roles that involve the decision-making process or revolve around making choices, right? In this group, you've got the entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and the negotiator as well. These are the roles that the managers may need to play in their daily job. Right. Entrepreneur, disturbance handler, or resource allocator, or negotiator. Right. So I see that the people who play this role, maybe in different position of the organization, right? The entrepreneur is someone is like in the top position, right? Who need to make strategic decisions, the long-term decisions, right? Long-term decisions. Who need to establish the objectives for the entire organization in a broader range, right? As a disturbance handlers may not be the top organization manager, may not be the top one, all right? But who are the one who solve some problem emerging when the organizations operate, right? The disturbance handler. Resource allocator, the one who makes decisions about allocating the resources to different divisions or sections or part of the organization or projects or work, etc. Right. And the last one, negotiator, the one who negotiates, right? Discuss things, right, with people, with the outsiders, right, the organization members, etc., right, to get something in common, right? So the managers can play some or all of the 10 roles, depends on the position in the organizations that they are in. Depends on the organization, the position in the organizations that they are in, right? We may want to ask how the managers can manage in the organization, right? And regarding that, writers have developed 3 important ways that the manager can manage, right? The first one, by managing the action directly. Managing the action directly, right? So in this, the manager job sometimes may not be involved with people under their support, under their management. May not involved with the people under their management, right? It's like the roles like the negotiator, the resources allocator, the disseminator, right? The spokesperson, etc., right? Who just manage action directly, and the actions can be done by people internally or by clients or the outsiders or by both. Right. For example, negotiating a contract is a manager's job. Right? Right. Or managing the projects, right? You don't do the project yourself. You don't do your project yourself, but you manage their contractors or subcontractors to do that. Right. The second way, by managing people who take action. By managing people who take action. Right. You assign a job to people. You assign the job to people. And then you have to instruct them, motivate them, create an environment for them to work and to collaborate with others. Right. Or sometimes you just need to develop or enhance the organization's cultures, and then you can manage the way people to take action. Right. And the third way to manage is by managing information that propels people to take action. Right. People are instructed, right, to do something, to take action, and you have to manage the information that you may want to exchange to them. Right. For example, you develop a budget, and then you ask your subordinates to do the job within the budget. Right. If over budget, for example, they will be fined. Right. If over budget, they will be fined, and then they have to find out the way to work under budget. Or you set out the goals for people to achieve. Right. You set out the goals, and then you have to disseminate the goals to the target groups, target member of staff in the organization. Right. They need to know about the goals, and then they can contribute their effort to achieve the goals. If they don't know about the goal, they may not know what to do, right? And then they may not contribute to the success of the organization in achieving the goals, right? Or task delegation, right? Instead of doing that yourself, you empower. Instead of doing that yourself, you empower your subordinate, right? For them to do that. But you often set out the rules, right? And they need to follow. In order for you to control the job better, right? And then you have to disseminate, or you have to communicate the rules to the subordinates for them to follow that, right? And then you can manage them, right, by managing the information that you exchange to them. So there are three important ways that people may do their managerial jobs, right? By managing action, by managing people, and by managing information, right? And that's all of the literature about the first lecture, organization and management and organization. And it's time for practice. So do you want to open the textbook, the main textbook? Yeah, management, and we will review some of the problems in there. Yeah, at the end of this chapter, you may see the chapter summary. Right. In there, they presents the summaries for chapters in terms of the learning outcome. Right. The first learning outcome is why managers are important. Right. The first, the person needs their skill and ability to answer certain complex and chaotic times. Second, they are critical to getting things done. Finally, they contribute to employee productivity and loyalty. Right. The ways employees are managed can affect the organizational financial performance, and managerial ability have been shown to be important in creating the organizational value. That's why the managers are important to the organization. Who managers are and where they work. Managers coordinate and oversee the work of other people so that the organizational goal can be accomplished. Excuse me. Mình nghe thấy cái gì? Bên trong mình có nhất, mình vừa có xuất hiện mà không nào ngủ được. Tại mình là gấp quá, mình không ngủ được. Nhớ giúp mình đấy. Cho mình nhận sau nhé. Cảm ơn mình nhận. Ok. Tí nữa mình các bạn đang dậy, nó định một tí nhắn cho mình đang sẽ. Okay. Sorry. Right. So in this outcome, you have to differentiate between the non-managerial employees and the managers, right? And they work in organization, the managers, and the organizations are the deliberate arrangements of the people and have three characteristics: a distinctive purpose composed of people and a deliberate structure. Right. And nowadays, the organizations tend to be more open, flexible, and responsive to changes. Not like the traditional one are more closed, inflexible, and a bit fixed, right? The functions, roles, the skill of managers, right? For function, planning, organizing, leading, and controlling, right? And in terms of the roles, managerial people, Mintzberg states that there are 3 groups with 10 roles, right? Right. And the value of studying the management, you can, the factors that are receiving defining the job now. We don't review that in our lecture, right? You may want to use your own time to read through the textbook, right? Right. And there are some questions for you to review and discuss, right? Like, how do managers differ from non-managerial employee? Right. How do they differ? Of course, the roles are different, right? The roles are different, right? Their roles are different. The non-managerial employees who are the people who directly create the products or services to the client or customer of the organization, right? While the managers are the one who coordinates and oversee the jobs of others, right? And as you mentioned before, right, there are some managers who play both roles at the same time. They may be the managers and they also are the professional member staff workers, right? And they do both. Is your course instructor a manager? Am I a manager? Am I? You have to check the definition, right? Who was a manager? Coordinate and oversee the work of other people so that organizational goals can be accomplished. Am I a manager? Am I? Do I need to do the functions, perform the functions, the 4 functions? Do I have to do the plan? Do I? I do.
Yes.
I do. And organization?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
A little bit, right? A little bit. A little bit. And then the next one is leading, right? Leading? Sometimes. Sometimes, right? Sometimes for example, if you do the presentation, right? I have to instruct you how to do that, right?
Yes.
And then control your progress, right? And then I have to check your results, right? Reports, right? So I am a manager. I am a manager, but not the very important one, right? In this case, not a very important one, because I've got some people who manage the cost, who manage your cost. They are more important, and they're in the higher position. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. For example, Miss Kim or
Yes.
the coordinator or someone.
Yeah, also very important.
Yeah, very important. Yeah, she's very, very important. Yeah. Good. And next, the manager's most basic responsibility is to focus people toward performance of work's activities to achieve desired outcomes. What's your interpretation of this statement? Do you agree with it? Why not? The manager's most basic responsibilities is to focus people toward performance of work activities to achieve desired outcomes. Okay. Mr. Nguyen, can you explain that in Vietnamese? Mr. Nguyen, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, can you explain that in Vietnamese? The third. Yeah, the number 3. Question number 3.
Yeah. I'm thinking.
While Mr. Nguyen is thinking, may I ask Mr. Linh? Mr. Linh, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you do the question number 3?
I think this opinion is say that the most important thing of manager is supervise everyone, and I don't agree with it.
You don't agree with that?
Yes.
You do? No, not yes. You don't mean no, not yes.
I'm not so agree.
Hay bị nhầm nhé. Không biết bây giờ tiếng Anh có thay đổi không, nhưng mà cái thời kỳ mình học với lại mình ở bên kia thì là trả lời là rất hay bị nhầm ở chỗ là nếu người ta hỏi phủ định là mình hỏi bạn là bạn không đồng ý với nó à, thì người Việt trả lời là có nghĩa là không đồng ý, đúng không?
No.
Nhưng mà bọn anh là không. Tôi nói nhắc lại cái đấy. You don't agree with it. Nếu mà bạn trả lời là I do, yes thì có nghĩa là bạn đồng ý ấy, chứ không phải là đồng ý đâu. Yes I do mà. Và no I don't thì nó mới là chuẩn. Đấy, không biết bây giờ nó có thay đổi không, nhưng cái thời kỳ mình dùng tiếng Anh ở bên Anh thì là bọn nó vẫn nói thế. Và lúc bây giờ đến Việt Nam mình thì nó có thay đổi gì không? Rõ từ năm 2010 đến 2009 năm này, ngôn ngữ nó có thể thay đổi. Okay, so you don't agree that. So
I'm not totally agree with it. I'm not totally agree with it.
Okay, you don't totally agree with that.
Yes.
So what part you agree and what part you don't agree?
I think
Bạn có thể nói tiếng Việt nếu mà bạn thấy nó hơi khó diễn đạt một chút cho người ta hiểu ý hơn. Ý người ta đây là cái công việc của cái ông quản lý ấy, đúng không, là chỉ có tập trung vào cái việc làm sao để cho cái người lao động người ta tập trung vào cái hoạt động của họ, đúng không, để từ đấy là có thể đạt được cái đầu ra hay cái kết quả như mong muốn, đúng không? Đấy thì cái cách đấy là cái quan điểm của đấy thì theo quan điểm cá nhân của mình là nó hơi cũ, Việc cũ là hướng cái người ai làm ai biết được người đấy thôi, ai biết được người đấy thôi. Trong khi đó thì các cái modern organization bây giờ, các cái tổ chức hiện đại bây giờ thì là không phải chỉ biết mỗi việc của mình, đúng không ạ? Không phải chỉ biết mỗi cái việc đấy, mà còn phải đóng góp vào rất là nhiều các thứ khác nữa. Kể cả câu chuyện là bây giờ là liên hệ với nhau, đúng không ạ? Phải có cái sự gọi là kết nối với nhau như thế chẳng hạn. Đấy, nên là không phải là chỉ nhìn mỗi vào việc của mình mà phải nhìn đầu vào đầu ra. Đấy, thì như vậy nó mới là cái đấy thì nói nó thì cũng hơi lý thuyết một tí. Thực tế thì cũng không phải là doanh nghiệp nào, đơn vị nào cũng thể làm như thế được, đúng không? Nhất là những cái doanh nghiệp thi công thì nhiều khi là những cái người công nhân người ta chỉ biết làm công việc của họ, chứ bảo họ xa hơn thì nó thực sự là nói thì trình độ họ cũng chưa đạt đến, đúng không ạ? Nhưng mà với những doanh nghiệp khác thì những việc công dịch vụ chẳng hạn bé hơn đấy, đúng không ạ? Đấy thì như vậy là các bạn sẽ phải làm sao huấn luyện để cho cái toàn bộ cái bộ máy đấy là người ta phải nhìn xa hơn công việc của họ, chứ không phải chỉ tập trung mỗi vào cái performance của cái công việc của họ, đúng không? Đấy, nó là quan điểm thôi, có thể đồng ý, có thể không. Cho nên mình cũng thấy bạn nói rằng là một phần đồng ý, một phần not totally thì là mình nghĩ là cũng phải cũng đồng quan điểm với mình. Mình là có những trường hợp thì nó đúng không? Nhưng có những trường hợp thì nó không đúng. Đấy, có những trường hợp thì rất khó áp dụng. Cho nên là tùy vào cái đối tượng chúng ta quản lý là ai, mà cái phần đấy có thể đúng có thể sai, đúng không? Đấy là như vậy. Đấy thì nó là quan điểm thôi. Nó cũng có thể bạn có thể có quan điểm khác. Thế đấy là cái quan điểm của mình thấy nó cũng có cái câu trả lời của Linh như là đồng ý một phần, đồng ý một phần. Ok. Right. Now move to number 7. Number 7. Does the way that contemporary organizations are structured appeal to you? Why not? Appeal? You know that word? Appeal?
It's very appealing to me.
It's appealing to you.
Yes.
Trong cái trường hợp này appeal là gì?
Hấp dẫn.
Hấp dẫn, thu hút.
Ok, nó nghĩa là kiểu dạng như attract. Nó đúng nghĩa là khi mà người ta phán quyết cái gì đấy mà bạn không đồng ý thì bạn có thể appeal là bạn kháng cáo, đúng không? Ví dụ thế. Ví dụ như là mình gọi là khiếu nại đấy, nhiều khi gọi là khiếu nại đấy. Những cái từ khiếu nại ở dịch tiếng Anh là claim thì nó là nghĩa một nghĩa khác, nó nghĩa là đòi hỏi. Đòi hỏi không phải là require đâu, mà ý là tôi cũng đã được cái đấy. You deserve that, but you are not getting you deserve to, là claim. Lại mình thấy hơi lẫn là như thế, bởi vì là cái từ gọi là đòi hỏi. Khiếu nại ở mình thì nó lại có thể có những nghĩa tương tự như thế kia, nhưng mà ở trong tiếng Anh nó không phải thế. Nhiều khi chúng ta hay dịch nhầm, chẳng hạn như là câu chuyện là nó có một cái giáo phái nó gọi là Jehovah's Witnesses, là nhân chứng của Jehovah, một cái giáo phái, một cái chi nhánh của đạo Thiên Chúa, một cái nhánh nhưng mà người ta không được công nhận. Thì mình ngày xưa một cái cậu thuộc cái giáo phái ấy, nó bảo là we are the subject of hardship. We are the subject of hardship. The subject các bạn biết cái từ đấy thì giống môn học ấy.
Vâng.
Cái chữ cuối cùng là hết, chữ hết. Ghét. Đấy. Đây là chủ thể đúng không? Tiếng Việt là chủ thể đúng không ạ? Subject là chủ thể đúng không ạ? Subject and verb mà. Subject là chủ thể trong câu thì chủ ngữ đấy. Đúng không ạ? Môn học là thì là chủ thể. Thế nhưng mà trong ngữ cảnh này thì chúng ta phải dịch là đối tượng bị ghét. Chúng ta là đối tượng bị ghét, bị người đời ghét bỏ. Đấy. Cái đối tượng tiếng Việt là gì? Tiếng Anh là dịch là gì? Chúng ta dịch tiếng Anh tiếng Việt là gì?
Object.
Đấy là rất là khó. Dịch qua dịch lại cái là nghĩa là khác hẳn đi rồi. Đấy, quay trở lại câu chuyện này đúng không ạ? Does the way that contemporary organizations are structured appeal to you? Why not? You said yes, right? Yes. So why not? Sorry, why? So who answered the question? Who just answered? Good.
Okay, so yes, in my opinion, so when we are working in contemporary organization, that allow for manager ability to do some other work in other departments because they not fit in one position. Yes, it's my opinion.
Okay, so it's more interesting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, more objective, right? The job is more objective because it changes job every day. I think the roles, right? The roles. It's not very boring, right? Because it's not fixed. Okay. Right. Okay. And there are some more, skills, exercises down here, and I expect that you use your own time at home, right? You do the exercises, right? And then you can practice the knowledge that we just gain through the lecture, right? Cái này thì mình nghĩ là các bạn sẽ tranh thủ thời gian nhà các bạn đọc qua, các bạn làm đi. Đây là cũng là để luyện cái kỹ năng mà chúng ta đã từ những kiến thức chúng ta vừa trao đổi ấy. Đấy. Exercise cái phần my turn to be a manager. Thì còn phần working together thì là thường là phải team để discuss với nhau. Cái này tùy các bạn có thể làm không làm vấn đề gì. Yeah. Thì các bạn tự làm hai cái phần trước phần sau này. Rồi mình nghĩ là hôm nay chắc là thế này là đủ rồi đúng không? Chúng ta có thể nghỉ được bây giờ.